For many years, the public's perception of Meghan Markle's life has been shaped by a polished narrative, one that seems straightforward and almost scripted. A seamless journey from high school to Hollywood, from actress to duchess, painted with the broad strokes of ambition, success, and reinvention. It's a story many have embraced. A young woman with dreams of stardom, propelled by talent, perseverance, and then swept into royalty through her marriage to Prince Harry. However, this carefully curated image has been challenged from within her own family, with revelations that hint at hidden chapters and untold complexities. Samantha Markle, Meghan's estranged sister, has offered a provocative and chilling revelation that disrupts the familiar story. Meghan was married long before her well-known union with Trevor Engelson. According to Samantha, in 1995, Meghan already had a husband and a child, all kept secret from the public and media for decades. This claim sounds astonishing, even impossible given the public timeline of Meghan's rise, but when examined closely, it raises profound questions about what has been concealed and why. As we trace Meghan's timeline back to the mid-1,990 seconds, as we dig into seemingly sealed records and listen to whispers circulating around the Giuliano family, a family entwined in this narrative, this claim feels less like spiteful fabrication and more like a disturbing confirmation. The story begins to unfold with a confusing year that never quite fits. 1994. In June of 1994, Meghan Markle graduated from Immaculate Heart High School, an all-girls Catholic school in Los Angeles. As her classmates eagerly anticipated college, summer adventures, and a brand new chapter in their lives, the official story presented about Meghan's next step was that she took a gap year before enrolling at Northwestern University in the fall of 1995. This gap year was casually described as a time for travel and self-discovery, a break before the rigors of college life. But the problem with this narrative is one of absence. There are no pictures, no documented exchange programs, no mention of host families who took her in for overseas study. Instead, there's an unexplained 12-month void, a black hole in Meghan Markle's early adult years. This gap perfectly overlaps with the time Samantha insists her sister was living a very different reality. Rather than a carefree year of travel, this was allegedly the year Meghan Markle became a wife. The summer of 1994 did not find Meghan enjoying shows or nightlife in Las Vegas, as many young people might do. Instead, whispers from those close to the Giuliano family suggest a far quieter, more secretive event. Meghan entered a small, almost invisible chapel just off the main Vegas Strip. There were no photographers, no classmates to document the moment, no glittering ceremony, just Meghan, 18 years old, standing beside Joe Giuliano, a teenage friend with deep family roots in Chicago. Two relatives reportedly witnessed the ceremony, and in under half an hour, Meghan Markle was legally married. Yet, months later, the evidence of this marriage seemed to vanish. An annulment was filed, but instead of following the usual public process typical of thousands of other Las Vegas weddings, this paperwork was immediately sealed. Clark County officials refused to confirm or deny the existence of these documents, creating an impenetrable wall of silence. If this was merely a teenage mistake, why would the records be hidden away? Why erase this chapter of history completely? Understanding the silence requires understanding the Giuliano family. Joe Giuliano did not chase Hollywood dreams. He came from a traditional Italian-American household in Chicago, a family described by those who knew them as intensely private, protective, and fiercely loyal. They held strong family values centered on early marriage, raising children within the fold, and shielding their own from outside scrutiny. These values clashed drastically with Meghan's ambitions. She was already dreaming of college, an acting career, and a public life. The Giuliano family wanted privacy and discretion. This collision of worlds set the stage for a quiet power struggle, not marked by drama or confrontation, but by the quiet weight of irreconcilable differences. The critical turning point emerged when pregnancy entered the picture. Just months after the quiet Vegas wedding, sources close to the Giuliano family say Meghan discovered she was pregnant. At 18, barely out of high school, she faced a life-altering decision. By mid-1995, according to these sources, a baby girl was born. But this child never became a public part of Meghan's life. Instead, the Giuliano family stepped in with a unique hush-hush arrangement. They took responsibility for raising the child as their own, without adoption, papers, or custody disputes, simply a silent mutual agreement. On official records, the baby was a ghost. There was no legal tie to Meghan Markle. Behind closed doors, the Giuliano household welcomed the child as theirs, raising her away from public eyes and scrutiny. But the formal end of Meghan's first marriage was no messy divorce. It was an annulment, a legal erasure. The paperwork not only ended the marriage, but sealed it away from prying eyes with no explanation, locking the past out of view. This agreement came with a strict condition: silence. Meghan was free to pursue the life she desired: college, acting, stardom, royalty, but with no public acknowledgement of her child or first marriage. The Giuliano family would raise the girl, and the chapter would be closed. The story that followed was one of reinvention, of erasing the past to build a future unshackled by mistakes or secrets. While Meghan enrolled at Northwestern University in the fall of 1995, diving into theater and her new life, the path she left behind stayed buried. She never contacted the Giuliano family. Again, never acknowledged the child or her past marriage. To Meghan, the annulment was more than legal paperwork. It was a reset button, a chance to reinvent herself entirely. Joe Giuliano continued to be part of the child's life, keeping her connected to family, but Meghan's break was complete and absolute. She emerged into the world as a student, then an actress, as if none of that earlier life had ever existed. Today, a woman in her late 22s lives quietly in Chicago, far from royal drama. Those who've seen her say she carries Meghan's striking features: the bone structure, the eyes, but she remains unknown to the public, never photographed with Meghan, never publicly tied to her. On paper, she doesn't exist as Meghan's daughter, but in blood, she represents the chapter Meghan left behind. Here lies the most haunting question: does this woman fully understand her connection to a story so carefully hidden for decades? For 3 decades, her life exists in the shadow of silence. So, the questions linger. If this was just teenage regret, why seal the annulment records? If no child existed, why did the Giuliano family raise a girl as their own? And above all, what happens if that daughter steps forward? This is no fan fiction or internet rumor. It is a story backed by sealed legal documents, whispered memories of those involved, and the quiet life of a woman unknown to most. A decision made in a Las Vegas chapel 3 decades ago remains a shadow hanging over Meghan Markle's carefully crafted public life. Meghan Markle built a narrative of transformation and royal destiny. Yet beneath the surface lies a chapter she never wanted told: a teenage marriage, a secret annulment, and a child left behind. While Samantha Markle tore open the curtain, the deeper truth is clear: silence can only hold for so long. When it fractures, the story once thought lost could be the one that changes everything.